Lovely ball in there and parried away by Daniel Akpe.
Yeah, the question is how long are they going to defend as vigorously as they have. You know, you spoke about Rangers dropping off, and I think they do it very well here at Sundowns. At times, the forwards drop off deeper, and the wide attackers advance into higher areas to exploit the space left behind. Very, very good tactic, because you draw the defenders out and you get in behind them. So something that I'm certain that has kept them in good stead, scoring those 35 goals that they have. You know, they patient in the build-up, like you see there, Rocky. They're not rushing things. They're looking for that extra pass. They're constant. And look how close. I want to mention the fact that they've only conceded 5 goals, and this is the reason why.
Yeah.
Whenever they build up, they're so close that when they lose the ball, they are able to counter-press very effectively.
Oh, lovely piece of skill by Peter Shalolile. Once again, no foul, says referee Jelly Chavani. Oh, and that's a little bit of a collision between two players, and Kabadinho Mhango is looking for some attention from Mr. Jelly Chavani. In the meantime, tracking back is Aubrey Modiba to suggest there was something that happened inside the Swallows penalty area a few moments back, just before the foul on the Malawian.
Well, I think Modiba uses excessive force here unnecessarily, because they have him a 2 versus 1 situation. But there you see he's leaning into him, and Mango there being stop.
Was there a case to be made here for Mamelodi Sundowns? He stays on side. Well, there's the punch away from Daniel Akpe. Looking for something to come out of that. I'm not sure that there was. Direct punch. No contact made by Akpe on Peter Shalolile. Mhango, space in the area. That's very, very good piece of movement from the Dube Birds, and it very, very nearly worked out for them as well.
Great ball being played in there. Keeper Williams coming out a little bit late, but you got to compliment the run here made from a deep position by Sundowns, and that almost ended up in the back of the net.
Roland Sanu, new signing from Burkina Faso, played for Royal Bobo FC, just 22 years old, making his 3rd start for the Dube Birds tonight, and already one can understand why he had been signed. All of a sudden, Sundowns playing a little bit of football inside of their own half, but this works perfectly for the defending champions, because they'll create space, they'll open up the defense, and then they'll look for those areas to capitalize on. Aubrey Modiba, lovely space for Modiba.
An expensive brand of football played. Unfortunately, Modiba didn't take the shot as well as he should. Look at this here, patiently waiting that run in from Modiba, initiating the move, and then ensuring that he gets on the end of it. Unfortunately, didn't wrap his laces around it. Allende giving him a sort of an approval to say a good try whatsoever. There we see that 4-3-3 formation with 3 up front looking to press high. But I think, you know, the keeper there, Akpe, saying, I'm going to have none of this. I'm not going to risk trying to play through this press. And now you see Sundowns repositioning themselves in a more or less a 4-4-2 formation.
A little touch in there from Divine Lunga. Was with Sundowns, went down to Abafana Bestende. Played on the left-hand side of defence. He's made his way back to Mamelodi Sundowns. This is Temi Gosi Lodge. Another good ball. Peter Shalolile. He's a quick man, but he's not that quick. Nowhere near the season that he enjoyed in the previous campaign, or the one before that, or the one before that. Even when he was with Highlands Park, he never had such a season where so few goals came for the Namibian international. But he's a quality player, and you want a player like that, because he's not only a goal scorer, he's a playmaker too.
Well, importantly, you know, Zwane was that player. This season hasn't set the house on fire, hasn't scored, hasn't really been involved in assists. Zwane, we know his pedigree, but this just shows the quality of this team. Even when you have players of that caliber not performing, they still have enough to produce the performance we've seen them do. What, 20 games and having, what, 20 games out of 20, winning, what was it, 16? Only drawing 4 this season, Rocky?
Yep, quite correct. They've actually absolutely obliterated just about all and sundry.
Are they going to be the invincibles this season if they don't lose any games?
Sure, who knows? One has to look back, though, to those back-to-back losses in cup competition. As a clearance again from Swallows and Ntsikelelo Nyauza, who has come back to the Dubai Birds from a spell at Richards Bay FC. Was it Pirates prior to that? And he's back in Soweto. Such patience on the ball from Batusi Aubas and Allende. Now Ribeiro once again can't quite thread the eye of the needle, and it's just a whole big defensive strategy from Moroka Swallows currently, but that's the style that you're facing. Shalile denied by Kwanda and Gonyama.
Yeah, they force you to play that ball long at any given time. When they lose the ball, they have 5 or 6 players counter-pressing you, but just not counter-pressing you, doing it in a very structured, organized way.
You know, one talks about Mamelodi Sundowns, and in the league, 20 matches unbeaten. In fact, if one looks statistically at the season so far, as we have a look at Musa Nyatama, then they haven't lost a match either. Yes, they had a goalless draw in the MTN 8 against Orlando Pirates, lost on penalties, and then the very next match they lost against TX Galaxy in the opening round of the Carling knockout on penalties. And those technically are losses. Statistically, they're draws.
Yeah, and I think if you look at the stats, it's a no-brainer to think that Sundowns are favorites and they're going to win it. But again, you look at the fact that they've organized themselves so well. If they get a draw here, Rocky, it will be a win for them. That is Swallows.
Swallows, yeah.
Yeah, I see he's late there for that particular one there. Obas taking more than the ball.
Swallows at the moment played a match more than Royal AM, who were just above them. And a better goal difference as well. And a draw tonight for Swallows will keep them in 14th position. A win will take them above the KZN side.
Well, against Amataxa, Sundowns struggled, but it was a cup game, and you know, they created many chances, but Amataxa have to be complimented by how well they defended on the night.
Well, when the Tux goalkeeper picked up the Player of the Match award, it gave you some sort of indication, even if you hadn't watched the match, that he'd provided some heroics.
Absolutely. You know, that is the difference tonight. You've got an experienced goalkeeper in Akpay, but he needs the likes of Gonyama and Nyauza to give him that support. The best of keepers are only as good as the defensive line in front of them.
Mokoena for Mamelodi Sundowns. 13th appearance in the starting lineup. He has even played once off the bench this season in the DStv Premiership as the Mamelodi Sundowns stalwart. Tremendous bloke. And that's not the greatest of balls from Ribeiro Costa. But he can take shots from that sort of distance as well. Now, look at the stats already. The completed passes, and Mamelodi Sundowns already 3 times the amount of completed passes than Swallows. Much better distribution rate, accuracy rate as well.
Well, Swallows are setting up a defensive block of 5 and 4, just leaving Mango up front, looking to absorb, and that's going to be a difficult one. Really, it's going to be tough.
Shalolile Costa nicely worked away by Maklanoko, but it's all defense at the moment from Swallows. 20 minutes into the first half, 0-0 at the moment. They have played twice already this season. No, they haven't. They played once, and the other was a PSL disciplinary decision, a DC. That's over the top. But because don't forget, in matches against for Swallows against Abafana Bestende and against Swallows. They didn't arrive, and therefore those DCs were 3-0 to both of those teams from Swallows, and it made a massive difference. It's 6 goals. It's, it makes a difference as far as their negative goal difference is concerned, because if you take those 6 goals away and potentially add a couple of points in there, then their goal difference is only -3. And maybe they would be further away from the relegation zone. But there were problems in the camp at that stage. They seem to have resolved themselves, and yeah, find themselves 8 points clear of Richards Bay FC, one side of the relegation zone and the other, although it must be said that Richards Bay FC are in the playoff position. Vala will clear.
Well, they're not out of it. With 7 games remaining, it's still possible for any of those teams at the bottom to climb out. We'll have to wait and see. It's going to be an interesting end to the season down at the bottom.
Absolutely. This should be an easy finish for Shalolile. It's not cleared off the line with Akpe beaten. Swallows living a little dangerously on that occasion, but yeah, it's good organisation. Go gets knocked over by Matobi Mvala, former Highlands Park man. And Amhango's decided to stay down. Sundowns aren't too worried about the Malawian striker.
Well, to be fair, they've got those 9 players there at the back. If you look at that particular picture, you will see that when they win possession, they only have one outlet, and that is that man on the floor, Mango.
Yeah, it might be the knock in that. Oh, yeah, took a knee in that sensitive lower midriff area from Matobi Mvala.
Yeah, Mvala doesn't leave any. He doesn't take any prisoners. In a situation like that, he's going to go all out. And to be fair, the referee missed that one. Yeah, we see Shalulila strikes it with the laces. It's just that you have so many bodies in front of the goal there, Rocky. The keeper's made a meal out of it. He's got to it, didn't put enough on it. But look at how quickly they close him down. And I think it's is it Nyauza?
Nyauza, yeah.
Who just blocked it. That was a shot on its way to goal.
Yep. Now, it's a good bit of defending. Robertinho Mhango will no doubt shake off the little knock that he received from Matobi Mvala. Only Matobi's 9th appearance of the season for Mamelodi Sundowns in the DStv Premiership, proving to be an important part of this team, the 29-year-old.
He's a gentle giant, I promise you. He's not intending to foul Mango. No. It's just the way he plays. It's just his nature. He's very robust. And at times, it takes much more than just the ball.
If you chat to the former owners of Highlands Park, Brad Kaftel, he'll tell you about Matobi Mvala and tell you just what a lovely guy he is. Peter Shalolile as well. Both products of the Highlands Park team that played out of Timpisa, Makulong, before they moved to perhaps greener pastures, and Highlands Park selling their status to Timsukazi.
Well, for any aspirant coach, this is a great example of a low block and how you deal with the low block and tactically what you do to stop a rampant team like Mamelodi Sundowns of breaking that block.
It's been fascinating for me, the comments that have come from Rulani Makwena, who says if teams that we play against would only just play, a decent style of football, then we could score 6 or 7 goals, against a team, which they haven't been able to do this season so far. But who's going to permit that in their right mind? So the low block is going to be something that's employed against Mamelodi Sundowns. The other thing he did say, which is rightly so, he says he doesn't know how the players are coping with all this massive amount of travel and the competitions they're playing in and the level of competition they're playing in. I mean, you've just come off the quarterfinals of the CAF Champions League and a victory on penalties against Young Africans, Younger from Tanzania. And now you're on the road again, straight back to another big giant of the African game, Esperance de Tunis. And it doesn't stop there. As well as that, you've got a semi-final or quarter-final of the Nedbank Cup that you've played. You've got a semi-final coming up against a team that knocked you out of the competition last year. Yeah, there's lots of pressure, not just plain sailing. No, that's why they have a big squad.
Absolutely, but it's that congestion that you got to manage from a regeneration perspective, how you keep the players fresh, how you ensure that you rotate your players, how you ensure that they have sufficient rest. If you look at the team having 2 or 3 fixtures per week like they have, You have no time to train. Look at that there. A ball played in, Mudau getting on the end of it. But that is the challenge, and that is where managing the team comes into play. It's not so much about training at this juncture of the league. When you get to this point of the team, it's more maintenance. You maintain the fitness, you ensure freshness, and that is where I think Rulani and his technical team, that is why you have such a big technical team, so that you are able to share the workload, and I think Sundowns have that.
No, they certainly do. I mean, the organization is brilliant, and you know, when you talk to members of the management staff, and you know, it's fascinating to see you know, that they have a structure, they have a format that they play their football in, and you either fit into the format or you don't play for Sundowns. You don't coach for Sundowns. You fit into their philosophy.
You fit into their philosophy. You ensure that you have the credentials. You ensure that you add value. You're not just there to make up the numbers. And if you don't, then you're on your way out.
Yeah, without a doubt. Sanu had that one opportunity a few moments ago for Moroka Swallows, the 22-year-old Burkinabe. Mathieu Mpaklele, 24-year-old former Baroka fullback. It's been some while since we've seen a Moroka Swallows jerseyed player inside the Mamelodi Sundowns penalty area, and so far Ronwen Williams hasn't had a great deal to do.
Yeah, he's gonna have very little to do tonight. It could be the occasional counter-attack, but here we see is it Mango as well, cluttering into the Mamelodi Sundowns defender there, Lunga, and yeah, definitely.
You see what happened there is that
foul.
Mhango was hungry for the ball, and Lunga had touched it back past Mvala to Ronwen Williams and then stopped.
Yeah, well,
and Mhango just ran into the back of him. Yeah, he got a knee in the, probably in the lower spine area.
Well, it's still a foul.
It is a foul. Absolutely.
Tackle from behind. Yeah. So I suppose, you know, you look at Lunga there, knowing that Mhango is that close. All he did was just shielded the ball and forced a foul. But you're speaking about Williams, and I want to say that you're going to count on your one hand, possibly at most, the amount of entries that Swallows make, defending as deep as they are.
Matobi Mvala, little run for Kolisi Mudau. Well, initially there was one, then he sort of pulled up a little in front of Maklo Noko. Back to Mvala. No problems there as far as finding his fellow centre-backs.
You got to compliment Nyatama for the 27 minutes of defending that we've witnessed. That's what they call zonal defending, where you don't pick up the men, but you defend the zone, and you defend in lines. They're doing it in two lines, one of the defensive line of 4, and then your midfield line of 5, with Mango up front. And they shift and they press depending on where the ball is at that specific time. Very frustrating to play against this type of a team, defending as low as they are. But you've got to find solutions, and I think Sundowns have the quality to do so.
Well, there's an opportunity that skims just past the right and upright. They're looking for a corner here. Is Peter Shalolile. Doesn't get the goal, doesn't get the corner.
Well,
he does get the corner, actually.
The referee has corrected his assistant. Yeah, here you see it. Let's see the touch. It didn't look like there was a touch, but I suppose. Let's see. Let's look at. There's the touch. There's the touch. It came off the outstretched foot. And yes, definitely a corner.
He's had two opportunities tonight. Peter Shalolile hasn't been able to bury either of them just yet. Both corners have gone to Mamelodi Sundowns so far.
Now let's watch this corner. I want to make a point. Your cover defense for Swallows was lacking on that diagonal pass.
Well, there's a whole gaggle of players inside of that Swallows penalty area. There's absolutely no wriggle room in there. Shalolile, Albas, Vala, all getting himself in positions where they can take advantage of any sort of loose ball, and referee just having a chat in there. So he doesn't want anything untoward. And Yawuza defending. So for that matter, Kwanda and Gunyama. Corner for Sundowns.
Well, it's going to open up like a hand grenade. As soon as that ball is kicked, those players in that bunch are going to suddenly move into good positions. Look at it there.
Variation to the theme. Ball hasn't been played in just yet.
Look at how they split now.
Well, they nearly made a hash of that one, but they still have possession here. Mamelodi Sundowns. Butusi Obas looking for work. Cleared away by Lanchane Palani. 34-year-old holding midfield. He really is a top-class player, Lanchane Palani.
Well, just on that set play, it didn't go according to plan. It's something that they must have done in training. But that final pass, that cross, or that corner wasn't executed and didn't come to fruition.
Nicely won back by Divine Lunga. Tembin Kosi Lorch can't exactly work himself away from the defenders. They'll press and prize and try again.
Question is, Sundowns going to take shots from distance. Becomes frustrating when you can't get. I spoke about that diagonal ball which we saw, you know, Swallows not able to deal with. A little bit fortunate at times, but it's about the player pressing behind him, the player that covers him, to stop that ball or attempt to stop that ball from entering the goal area.
Shouldn't come as any great surprise to know that Mamelodi Sundowns have 65% of the possession so far. Mhango, nice first touch from Mhango. Not sure if the referee was going to allow that. In fact, he does allow that, and he tells Mhango to get back to his feet. In fact, it wasn't Mhango who was down there.
Charlie feels he was manhandled.
Certainly does appear so. Mhango all over the back of Matobi Mfala.
Yeah, there we see them resetting that block again with the 4 and the 5. Yeah, patiently waiting.
They push down the left, they push down the right, and they work down the middle. And they wait for the acceleration of their speedy players like Shalulile, like Butusi Albas, like Ribeiro Costa. Don't forget the role that Marcelo Allende plays as well. And there he is with a little dink ball for that crossed effort. And again, a nice call from Daniel Ekpe.
When we witness the build-up again, I want you to see how narrow they are when they do build up. They don't use a lot of width. They get, even their fullbacks become inverted to create a numerical superiority just around the ball. Very interesting to see how this team plays.
You know, one can understand maybe the frustration of Rulani Mokoena, maybe the frustration of his own side not being able to score as many goals because of the opposition tactic that they play. But if you look at the last 6 matches, 2 goals against Chippa, 2 goals against Maritzburg United. Other than that, 1 goal apiece against Supersport United, Richards Bay FC, Spurs and Tuks. So they're not a free scoring team, not recently anyway, but you know, the pressure's mounting. They're playing such high quality matches, you know, midweek, weekend. The travel that they've made as well is quite phenomenal.
Well, and teams are planning better for them.
Yeah.
You know, when you see them play, and I spoke about the fact that when they are in possession, they play with a very narrow shape, and that's to create lots of short passing options, which helps them to keep the ball better and prevent many deep turnovers when they do occur. So there's it again on the side now. Now it's moved from the center to the side.
Lorch suddenly props up on the right-hand side. Nice work by Kulisimu Dao. Flicked back, though, by Nyauza. No real chance for a counter-attack, but they'll try again here with Konga.
and fires that ball into the goal. Fantastic goal, still had a lot to do, but look at him strike that ball.
Yeah, the beauty of it as well is that there's just a little bit of movement off the outside of the boot, which eludes Daniel Akpe into that left-hand side. And the captain of Mamelodi Sundowns, I'm not sure if he's signaling that he wants to come off the field of play, but that's a great goal from him. Toboko Mokoena, his third league goal of the season. He might not score too many, but when he scores them,
quality.
There's something for the record. Yeah, absolutely.
Exceptional. And he's been the most influential, but you got to ask questions again that Swallows defended well, but were a little bit slow in closing him down, and a player of his caliber, you need to ensure you close him down early.
Mokoena continues to sit on the seat of his pants. Mamelodi Sundowns taking the lead 8 minutes before half-time. Mokoena injuring himself in the process. The captain's armband's already been given to Ronwen Williams, so he is convinced that he's not going to have any further part of this match to play. I just wonder where he picked up a knock.
Yeah, well, there wasn't much contact there, but he struck that ball so well. It could have been resulted from the fact that he struck that ball. Something could have been a niggle there, but I think it would be advisable to get him off the pitch. You've got an important encounter coming up. You need your Mokoena in that particular match coming up.
Mokoena explaining himself to the coaching staff. Looks as if the former SuperSport United midfielder Sipho Mbule is going to be coming on to take the place of Mokoena. Hasn't had that much game time this season, only 4 times in the starting lineup. It'll be 6th appearance off the bench. I beg your pardon, for Sipho Mbule.
Yeah, a player that was the successor in that midfield. Hasn't had much time, but when you have a Mokoena playing as well as he did, then it's understandable why he hasn't had that much game time.
We hear it might be a little tweak of the hamstring for Mokoena, so that's a cautionary substitution. They'll want Mokoena in Tunisia, that's for sure, over the weekend.
The question is going to be, Rocky, is Swallows going to now decide to come out, their goal down?
Well, I'm not sure what else they have to lose here. Swallows, they've already conceded their 26th goal of the season. They have a -10 goal difference on 25 points, but still Richards Waves have a -14 goal difference. Spurs even worse at -22 in the Premier League.
Balani, they're getting a caution. Yeah, here we see, but it looks like Mudau there left the arm in. Look at it there, he's leaned with his elbow. So maybe the yellow is for Mudau.
Now, the referee had a perfect view of it. It's Khulisi Mudau who goes into the book. Well, the fans were in disagreement with the assistant referee on the far side, Mr. Kenny Mamegwa, suggesting it should have been a corner kick for the Dubai Birds. 4 minutes and stoppage time away from half-time in Dobsonville. Football for you on a Monday night. There are a couple of matches coming up tomorrow. SuperSport United against Polokwane City in a catch-up match. Sekakuni United against Stellenbosch FC in another catch-up game. Champion Kosi Lorch in the meantime. First touch for Mbule. Mudau. Lorch again. Good hustling from Moroka Swallows as they don't allow Mamelodi Sundowns the space to accelerate. Having said that, Shalulile just about does that. There's always a player available, isn't there? Aubrey Modiba. Match, controlling the match. Ripper of a goal from Mokoena before he went off with that hamstring injury. Mudau Vala.
Well, they've moved Obas into that number 6 role.
Yeah.
And they keep that ball.
Launch offside.
From Shalulile, a little bit too eager to move forward. Look at him, makes the run. Is he offside? Let's look at it. Yeah, when the ball was passed, he was in an offside position. But this is also the other thing that they do very well, Rocky. They defend with the ball. So when they have the ball and they passing it the way they do, keeping it 20 passes, 15 passes, the opposition aren't able to threaten them offensively.
Responding to emails takes time, but not with Grammarly. In a few clicks, Grammarly's generative AI drafts professional.
In this video, I'm going to be showing you 8 smartphone gimbal transitions that anyone can do. I'm going to walk you through each one step by step so that you can apply these same transitions to your films and videos, making them look much more professional and creative. It's coming up. Hey everyone, Steve here from Learn Online Video, and today I'm in Plymouth in the southwest of England, where I'm going to be showing you 8 smartphone gimbal transitions that will instantly take your mobile filmmaking to the next level. These transitions are a great creative way to take your audience from one shot to another. Helping me on this shoot today.
It didn't come from close range, it came from a long distance shot. So whatever's been dealt with as far as box entries are concerned.
Is Han Fisher, a model, photographer, snowboarder, and all-round talent. I'm going to be shooting everything on the iPhone 11 and combining that with the...
For that particular shot from Mokoena, great shot. On any given day, you're going to have a problem stopping that type of quality.
Lorch can't find a way through either. Lorch again. Ball given away a little. Then an opportunity to mount a counter. Ball's been kept in play by Charlie. No, it hasn't.
Yeah, it's just runner. What I find very, very interesting is the way they build up, the way they are able to bypass the first line of pressure, get the ball to the midfielders, keep that narrow shape, rotate the ball, and then finally play that killer pass, that champagne pass to a player able to run onto it. It's very interesting, and I think for young players and aspirant coaches, this is a good example of how possession can be effective. Not possession for the sake of possession, but for possession with a purpose.
2 minutes added on to the end of the first half in Dobsonville. Great that you're with us this evening on a Monday night. Swallows doing totally the majority of the defending so far.
Well, people often speak about the quality and neglect to say that even though they have the quality, it's their tactical preparation that makes that quality shine through.
Sipampule. Jimmy Kosi Lodge. Closed down by Moroka. And that's a bit naughty from the former Pirates man.
Unnecessary, temperamental, very temperamental.
Swallows are looking for a yellow card from Mr. Charlie. Jelly Chavani, I beg your pardon.
Well, that's the least. That's the least. That's really not necessary. Did he get a card?
Nope.
Well, I think the referee got that one wrong. That clearly is a bookable offence in anybody's book. He doesn't see it as a foul. I mean, he's lashed out.
Ever smiling Jelly Chavani.
I'd love to ask him what's the reason that he didn't give a yellow card for that particular
Good play
offense.
here by
Is it a new rule?
Moroka Swallows, space on the edge of the area for Kabadinho Mhango. Still a chance for Mamelodi.
Yeah.
Creativity coming within 20 seconds of half time in Dobsonville. They seem completely unflustered, Mamelodi Sundowns.
No, they got the game under control. They're controlling the match. They're controlling the moments in the game, whether it's in possession or when they lose possession, or during the two phases, the positive and negative transition phases. They really have done extremely well.
Jelly Chavani will blow for half-time in Dobsonville. Two sides going into the break as Swallows defend very adequately indeed as far as preventing box entries. However, very little to defend against when this man takes a ripper from outside of the penalty area, and that's exactly what Mokoena did for his third contribution in the dstv premiership for Mamelodi Sundowns. Shalili's had a couple of chances. He's been quite elusive, working down the left-hand side and then popping into the penalty area. I'm liking the work of Costa and Allende. Alba's playing a watching brief. Now that Mokwena's gone, he's had to drop into the pocket a little bit more. But yeah, it's an all-round good performance so far. I don't think they're overextending themselves. Mamelodi Sundowns. One has to give a compliment, though, to Moroka Swallows in how they are structurally defensively organized. Just a one goal in it then. Teboka Mokoena on 37 minutes. Mamelodi Sundowns lead at half-time by 1-0.
At some point, you need to manage the squad, but Coach Rulani also wants the points. They want the record of maybe the best defense in the history of the PSL in the modern era. So he keeps going with his best players, but unfortunately for him, he's pulling a muscle there.
Is there a sense maybe from Swallows that by virtue of the fact that they're 8 points clear of the relegation zone with 7 games to go, that they don't have to chase the game? They don't have to get all 3 points here?
Yes, you do get that feeling. I mean, look, I think if it was a lot tighter, you would have seen probably more experimental, sort of more vibrant, aggressive, offensively Swallows. But I think with this one, try and contain them, hope to get lucky, but you're already 1 goal down. So with the little bit of a buffer that you have with the points and no one expecting you to beat Sundowns, 45 minutes, have a go.
Well, that's what we're looking forward to seeing, and I'm sure you're strapping yourself in to have a look at as to whether Musa Nyatama's side can, for the next